Billy Corgan didn't whisper it. He said it outright on his podcast, The Magnificent Others, in early 2026. Rock music, the soundtrack of 20th century upheaval, was purposely dialed down. And some people, he added, point straight at the CIA. Guitars that once roared now shared space with bass lines that thumped like warnings. Was it just evolution? Or did someone flip a switch? Smashing Pumpkins frontman Billy Corgan didn't mince words. In a December 2025 episode that resurfaced and exploded in March 2026, he told guest Conrad Flynn, "Rock was the greatest single social changing force of the 20th century. And here we are 25 years into the 21st century, and rock couldn't be any less of an influence." He zeroed in on 1997-98. If you were at MTV or around MTV, suddenly they decided rock was out when rock was still very, very high up in the thing, and it was replaced by rap. Their standards and practices immediately shifted, so now the things that weren't allowed were suddenly allowed. People were waving guns. Then, the line that lit the internet. Some people assert that the CIA was involved in all that. Again, above my pay grade. But I saw it happen. I did witness it happen. Corgan wasn't claiming he had memos. He was pointing at what he lived through while his own band released Adore, an album that stepped away from the crunchy riffs that made them stars. Rock, he argued, lost its cultural microphone while ticket sales stayed strong. Today, rock dominates live venues but barely registers in mainstream conversation. Why the schism? We'll circle back to that question when we look at who really holds the volume knob. Let's pause the conspiracy soundtrack and look at the tape. Billboard's video monitor charts from November 1998 still listed rock videos prominently. Alanis Morissette, Barenaked Ladies, Korn, Hole. By 1999, Limp Bizkit, Bush, Kid Rock and Blink-182 topped the list. MTV wasn't killing rock out of ideology. It was chasing advertisers who wanted the 12 to 24 demographic. Teens who grew up on Nirvana were now in their early 20s. Younger viewers wanted something fresher. Pop exploded. Backstreet Boys tested well. Britney Spears followed. Rap videos, with their raw energy and urban stories, filled the gap. Standards relaxed because the audience and sponsors demanded it. Joseph Kahn, director of videos for everyone from Eminem to Taylor Swift, put it bluntly, "Rock died when it separated itself from sex. Music is ultimately driven by horny teenagers, and they fled to rap." Yet the feeling Corgan described was real. Standards did shift overnight. Guns in videos, once taboo, suddenly normalized. The question lingers. Was this pure market forces, or did larger interests nudge the dial? Hold that thought. We'll connect it to older theories about culture as a battlefield. The swap narrative doesn't stop at rock's decline. Parallel stories claim hip-hop itself was steered. In 2012, an anonymous Gmail from John Smith surfaced on hip-hop blogs. It described a supposed 1991 meeting near Los Angeles where music executives, allegedly invested in private prisons, were told to promote gangsta rap that glorified crime. The goal? Keep prisons full and profitable. The letter exploded online. Was it real? Most evidence says no, one-off hoax or satire. Yet the timing matched something undeniable. The explosive rise of gangster rap after the LA riots, the prison population boom, and the private prison industry's growth. NPR's Louder Than a Riot podcast traced these threads without endorsing the letter, noting how hip-hop lyrics and sentencing laws mirrored each other for decades. Artists like Ice Cube and Killer Mike have voiced versions of the suspicion. You're telling me the same evil minds that came up with the prison industrial system couldn't manipulate hip-hop? Mick Jenkins echoed the unease. Even if no secret meeting occurred, the correlation between marketed violence and profit motives feels too neat for coincidence to some. Did the CIA swap rock for hip-hop? No declassified memo proves it. But the agency has a documented history of treating culture as terrain. During the Cold War, it funded jazz tours to project American freedom abroad. Closer to home, theories swirl around Laurel Canyon's 1960s music scene and possible intelligence eyes. Gary Webb's Dark Alliance series raised questions about CIA-linked cocaine flooding inner cities, the same streets that birthed gangster rap. Plato warned in The Republic that changing a nation's music could change its laws. He wasn't paranoid. He understood rhythm shapes the soul before the mind catches up. Theodore Adorno, writing about the culture industry, saw popular music as a factory that produces compliant listeners rather than rebels. When rock lost its edge, did we simply age out, or did the factory retool? Psychology offers another lens. Carl Jung's shadow archetype, the part of us we repress, finds voice in art. Rock once let a generation scream its shadow. Hip-hop, in its commercial form, sometimes packaged that shadow as entertainment for outsiders. The underdog who refuses to die, a theme I explored in my earlier essay on Dostoevsky, gets commodified instead of empowered. Rock's ticket power versus cultural silence. Why the disconnect persists. Corgan's sharpest observation stands. Rock remains the top live draw in the West. Arenas sell out for bands that barely crack streaming charts. Hip-hop and pop dominate algorithms and airwaves. The schism isn't accidental. Streaming rewards short, repeatable hooks. Live rock rewards sweat and volume. Whoever controls the playlist controls the conversation. We opened with a parenthesis about something far more calculated than the usual suspects. Here it closes. The real force isn't always a shadowy agency in Langley. It's the invisible hand of profit, demographics, and power that treats culture like software to be updated. Sometimes the CIA may have glanced at the code. More often, the market rewrote it. But rock never fully vanished. It just moved underground, into garages, small clubs, and the stubborn hearts of listeners who still crave guitars that bite back. Hip-hop, too, contains multitudes, conscious voices pushing against the very stereotypes that once dominated playlists. The next shift is already happening. Pop reigns, AI algorithms curate, but ticket sales and bedroom producers keep rewriting the rules. What do you think? Did external forces really dial down rock, or was it inevitable evolution? Drop your thoughts below. The conversation, like the music, refuses to stay silent. The question for every listener and creator becomes, whose playlist are you really on?